Good morning, Virgo. You are not going to believe me when I tell you this. That is why it is in the title. Because what I am seeing in your energy right now for the month of May is the kind of thing that makes even me stop and take a breath, welcome, and please stay open for all of this. May 2026. I want you to say that month in your mind. Feel it. Because this is not a vague someday. This is a specific window, a specific season, and what is forming inside it. For you, specifically, has a quality to it that I need you to understand. Something is being completed, not just finished, completed in the way that something completes when it has run its full course, when every piece of it has found its place, when the last thing that needed to happen finally happens, and the whole shape of something becomes visible, clear, whole. And when something completes like that, the natural response, the only appropriate response, is celebration. I want to tell you about the crown in this message because it is not decorative. It is specific. It means something, and I want you to understand what it means for you. A crown is not given to someone who was lucky. It is not handed to someone by accident. It is not placed on the head of someone who simply showed up at the right time without earning what it represents. A crown is the recognition of something that was already true, the formal acknowledgement of what someone has always been. The moment the outside world finally catches up to what the inside world has known for a long time, you have been carrying something, a quality, a capacity, a depth that has not always been formally recognized, that has existed in you undeniably, long before the world was ready to acknowledge it. In May, the acknowledgement arrives. And I want to speak to what that acknowledgement has cost you in its absence, because I think it is important to name before we talk about it arriving, moving through the world knowing what you carry and not having it reflected back to you, not having it seen, not having it met with the recognition it deserves, is quietly exhausting. It requires constant internal maintenance, the work of keeping your own sense of worth intact when the external evidence is thin or absent or actively contradicting it. You have been doing that work without stopping for a long time, and it has been a heavier lift than anyone around you has fully understood. In May, that work gets lighter because what you have always known about yourself finally has external support, finally has evidence that meets it, finally has a world that says, yes, we see it too. Because I know that Virgo precision, or whatever sign you carry, wants something concrete, not just beautiful language, something you can recognize when it lands. The celebration may come through recognition, someone seeing what you have built, what you have contributed, what you have been working toward, and saying it out loud in a way that reaches you in a way that lands in the specific place where recognition has been quietly needed. The celebration may come through material shift, something financial, something that arrives and immediately changes the equation, the calculation of what is possible, the math of your daily life, in a way that produces relief and expansion simultaneously. The celebration may come through a relationship, something that solidifies, something that commits, something that says, this is real. This is chosen. This is not going anywhere, and produces in you the particular joy of something real. Finally, being confirmed, or it may come as an internal celebration, the quietest and most significant kind. The moment you look at your life and feel for the first time in a long time, or perhaps for the first time ever, that it is actually truly good. Whew. I want to speak to something that makes May particularly powerful for you right now. Something specific to where you are in your own story. There is a version of you that existed before this last difficult chapter, before whatever pressed you, whatever tested you, whatever asked more of you than felt fair. That version had a particular lightness, a particular ease with life, that the difficulty slowly pressed out of you. And there is the version of you that exists now, after the pressing, which is different from both of those. Not lighter than the first, not heavier than the second, but something new, something that could only be created by going through what you went through and coming out the other side, still intact, still open, still reaching. That is the version the celebration is for. The new version, the one that the difficult season built without knowing it was building you for something worth celebrating, because it is real. And I do not want you to dismiss what is coming, because it arrives in a size that your current expectations cannot accommodate. You have been managing your expectations carefully in the way that people do when they have hoped before and been let down, when they have invested in outcomes that did not arrive, when the lesson of a difficult season has been, do not want too much, because wanting too much leads to disappointment. And disappointment is something you are tired of feeling. So you have kept your expectations modest, reasonable, safely within the range of what you can handle not receiving. If it comes to that, what is coming in May does not fit within that range. It is larger, more significant, more complete than the modest expecting you have been practicing. Would have allowed you to anticipate, and that is why you won't believe it. Not because it is impossible, but because it exceeds what you have been letting yourself expect. Whew. Let yourself believe it. Now, in advance, before the evidence arrives. Because believing it now opens you to receiving it fully. When it does, this is not blind faith. This is not pretending. This is a conscious decision to allow the range of what you expect for yourself to expand, to include something you had stopped imagining was possible. That expansion is the preparation. I want to speak now about what May is energetically for someone in your specific position, because understanding the nature of the month helps you move through it with intention. May is a month of culmination for you specifically, not for everyone, but for you who has been in a building season, who has been investing without visible return, who has been doing the work in the dark without the spotlight that would have told you you are on the right path. Keep going. May is when the spotlight arrives. Not because you finally deserved it, you always deserved it, but because the timing, the specific convergence of what you have built and what the world is now ready to receive from you has arrived. The world, in its own imperfect way, is ready for what you have to offer. And May is when it says so. I also want to speak to the people who will witness this celebration, because a crown ceremony has witnesses, and yours will too. There are people in your life who have seen you work, who have watched you persist through the difficult season without always being able to tell you how much they admired what they were watching, who held their breath alongside you, hoping that what you were building would finally produce what it deserved to produce. Those people are going to feel the celebration too. They are going to feel a particular satisfaction that comes from watching someone you believe in finally receive what you always knew they deserved. Let them be part of it. Let the celebration be witnessed, because a crown placed in private is still a crown, but a crown celebrated with people who have been in your corner all along is something more, something that honors the full journey, not just the arrival from the inside, because I think you need a preview, something to hold in your mind as you move through the days between now and May. It looks like exhaling, a full, complete exhale, the kind that your body has been waiting to do for longer than you realized it was holding. It looks like someone saying something to you and feeling finally, without immediately qualifying it or looking for the catch, that it is true. It looks like a moment where you see your life clearly and feel for the first time in this long season that it is going somewhere good, that the direction is right, that what you have been building is real and visible and worth everything it cost. And it looks like joy, uncomplicated, unqualified, the kind that asks nothing further of you, the kind that simply says, this is good, and this is yours. May 2026, a celebration is coming, and you, whoever you have had to become to arrive here, are exactly the person it was always meant for